fade up on an aerial shot, downtown skyscrapers.
Real meta.
We'll cast some beautiful...
Is it you?
Maybe an up-and-coming starlet whose career's on the verge of taking off. Anyway.
Okay.
Is there no one to help me?
You can do it?
Now there's someone who'll answer your...
Oh.
And you can count on me, because I'm the Dark Avenger.
Oh, is it an ad? The Dark Avenger.
Avenger.
No.
Facts and...
Immediately out. Mate, this is the way to get business rather than approaching people in garages in the dark. Namely women, like mostly, mate. Like, it can't last forever.
Buffy blows into town and puts you in a permanent funk and...
Yeah. I was thinking before I came into this that he's got to be a bit down this episode, right? Bless him.
Not to mention our pesky lack of investigator's license.
We haven't sorted that yet, guys.
Way too Braveheart for Joe Couch Potato to relate to. We need
Doyle.
someone who's average.
Bit rude.
Well, I appreciate the compliment. Plus I get dry mouth.
Excuse me?
Tell you what, sort out dry mouth, mate. Bit of coffee.
Our boss is in a funk.
I wonder if Angel will confide in somebody. Doyle, maybe. Eventually. I mean, we did see last episode that there are still secrets between them, so there's still a bit of a war, in their relationship, I think. Which, it's going to be interesting to see get brought down. I do wonder, the arc of season 1, I wonder if we'll get more, clarity on the powers that be, why he's here, Doyle, what secrets he might still be keeping, all that stuff. And what place we're going to be in going into season 2.
If you need help, then look no further. Angel Investigations is the best.
Ooh, bit less.
Our rats are low.
Rates.
It says rats.
To be fair though, low rats is actually, a high rat's better. I don't know. Well, mate, there's so much wordplay going on here. I'll be honest with you. Like, what do we mean by high? Honestly, that could make things either amazing or horribly chaotic.
Our rates are low, but our standards are high.
Less rats is good. We can advertise that though.
You need someone that you can count on, and that's what you'll find here. Go
That's
all
quite
the way.
nice.
Oh,
Sean Gunn.
And you'll see that there's still heroes in this world.
Yeah, hero.
Am I done?
I'm not getting Everyman. I'm getting, Weasel.
Dude.
I don't know. I think people will be pouring in as soon as they hear about our low rats.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
It's not like he has a heart. How could it be so broken?
Could he?
Maybe if we get him a costume.
Oh, I thought you were going to say coffee, dude, and I'll be honest with you, I have never been more disappointed in you. That's probably not true. Admittedly.
I don't see Angel putting on tights. Oh, now I do, and it's really disturbing.
I feel like I could pull it off,
I just need a little time.
Yeah, but they don't know what happened, so...
Buffy was here for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, are we going to tell Doyle? I hope so.
So she was here for a whole day and night.
Nice. I mean, that episode, everything that happened, it's got to be spilling out of him. And, you've got someone in Doyle that you can confide in. This is good, like I say. So that's why I brought up the whole relationship between them and the wall between them still that we kind of saw. And I wonder, actually, with him sharing this and Doyle being there, understanding, and, I think secrets shared and confidence is given can work on a bond between two people. Start to lower that wall a little bit. Not completely, but...
Who are the oracles, Doyle? Why didn't you tell me about them before? The first time the Mora demon attacked, it got away.
What first time? No, see, I'm going to remember a trip to the netherworld of eternal watching.
You'd think.
You were a real-life flesh-and-blood human being. And you and Buffy...
Yep.
You had the one thing you wanted in your naturally long life, and you gave it back?
Yep.
Maybe I was wrong.
About you being the real deal in the hero department. See, I would have chosen the pleasures of the flesh over duty and honor any day of the week.
Well, there we go.
I just don't have that strength.
There we go. I mean, it was discussed, and I didn't really talk about it last episode. Sometimes I make comments about stuff that I feel like are communicating something, but I didn't really talk about it, so it's fair. I saw, bless you, someone commented on I Will Remember You about the taking of autonomy from Buffy, which I absolutely agree with. And, I talked about Angel being a hero last episode, and it's funny, we're coming into this one, it's called Hero. And now we're, having Doyle talk about, I think talking a way that I was talking about last episode in regard to Angel, because I called him heroic, and I think looking at it from a certain perspective, from that perspective, with that context of the fact that he did take a lot of autonomy from Buffy, does somewhat sour that, decision that he made and what he did. And sorry, yeah, because when he went to the oracles, I made a comment about, like, did you talk to Buffy first? Because with, the implication being that I'm like, that should be what he did, you know. There should have been, you know, it's something that impacted both of them. He should have had a sit-down conversation, been like, look, I need to go, this is what I'm thinking about doing. I honestly think in that event, if he had talked to her, the episode might have gone in the way that it went anyway. And you know, what happened would have happened anyway, but it would have been a lot better because he would have had her consent, and you know, they would have discussed it first, right? Because it, like, you know, it did involve her. It absolutely did involve her. And then when they had that final conversation, looking at the clock, at minute counting down, there was a moment where I said, because he was telling her, obviously, and I was like, good, at least you're telling her now. Just to be absolutely clear and to clarify from my perspective, like, that's still not good enough. It's good that he told her over not telling her. I don't know, maybe that's crueler in the moment, considering the decision he made, maybe. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, sorry, point being, I talked about it a little bit in a comment, and maybe it's semantics a little bit, maybe hero or heroic, to describe what he did is the wrong word, but I suppose what I was really trying to dial down on was the Herculean effort, the, you know, incredible kind of mental strength it takes for a person to do and actually make that decision, you know, putting the consent conversation aside, and that's not to try and devalue that conversation or say it's not important, because it is, but, you know, taking the actual decision that he made and the humanity that it takes a person to make that decision, take that upon themselves, and in saying, I am going to do this for the greater good, and I'm going to live with that every single day, and it's going to hurt me every single day, but that's something I can take and will take, and I'm making that decision to do that. I think that is a heroic effort, I suppose is what I was trying to say. Is that act in itself ultimately at the end of the day heroic? I think there is a good argument to say no, considering that consent that he took away from Buffy in that moment. It wasn't me trying to downplay that so much. It was just me, I suppose, trying to talk about the effort that it took from him, you know, from on a human level, away from that conversation of consent. But anyway, I wanted to just address it a little bit more than I did last episode, because it is important, and I do agree with that. I do think that he did take a lot of, you know, autonomy from her, and then he took her memory without her consent too. She didn't say she was okay with that, and I think he made that decision for her, as well as the decision that he was making for himself, which I think is actually, you know, quite I think representative of their relationship, and perhaps at the end of the day how we could have a conversation about how he's not right for her, right? Because I think in Buffy, when they were together, there was a lot of, and we talked about it a lot, in regards to how unhealthy it was, how toxic it was, how it didn't actually ultimately work as much as that feeling was there for them, how it wasn't that healthy in the end when you boil it all down. And I suppose, you know, maybe the most you could say from that last episode, I Will Remember You, and the way that he did what he did shows that long term, that sort of relationship wouldn't work. Maybe actually it's the best thing that could have happened in a certain way, in the sense of them not, you know, deciding to be human and have that relationship, because the relationship wouldn't have been good for either of them, just because of who he is. I think he does have a little bit of a complex, you know, which isn't healthy. Last episode aside, and sorry, the episode is called Hero, so I feel like there is a little bit of a microscope put onto him a little bit, Angel, and actually, is he a hero? Is he not? You know, how far do we want to go? I think you can't ignore last episode and the nuances in it as to when you're talking about it. I think I do stand by, you know, that he has done some objectively, at least to my mind, heroic acts. Thinking about, you know, diving out into the sunlight, wreathed in fire, and boom, taking that guy out. You know, other stuff as well. I think there's a good case to be made, and I think he is that this season. Is he the clear-cut, perfect hero, you know, without flaw? No, he's not. And there's, like I say, I think there's perhaps a kernel to his character that we saw last episode and what we saw in Buffy. And as much as I'm talking about how much he's come on in his own show, and he has, there is still something in him that is ultimately unhealthy and toxic, not just to those around him, but to him, right? He has this complex in himself where it's like he puts it all on himself. You know, the decision that he made to go out without Buffy, waking up Buffy, I got to do this for myself, stupid, dumb. No, learn to ask for help. Learn that actually you don't have to take decisions or whatever it might be away from people to your mind do the right thing. Because I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, that's perhaps not the right thing, right? Which I think we saw in I Will Remember You. Even if it, like I say, I think if he had that conversation with her and, you know, laid it all out and given Buffy all of the information that he had, I honestly think there's a good case to say that Buffy, hard as it would have been, and maybe it would have taken a little bit of time to persuade her, she is who she is too, and she thinks that way too. And, you know, we saw that in season 2 in the way that she what was it, stabbed him and you know, sent him to hell in the end, Angelus, right? She did the hard thing for the greater good. So this is my point. That's why I say there's a good argument to say that if they'd have talked about it, she would have actually said, okay, this sucks, but fine, go do it eventually. I think it's highly likely that would have happened because that's just who they are. Anyway, sorry. Just talking about it because I think Doyle's bringing it up, calling him a hero. That's what the episode centered around. It would be remiss of me not to talk about, I think, like I say, the things that perhaps poke holes in that image of him last episode. And actually, yeah, still kind of the way that he has to go, I think, as a character in identifying these things in himself that aren't healthy and that are actually hurting him and like I say, those around him, and not perhaps doing maybe ultimately making the right decision, but doing it the wrong way, right? Which is what we saw last episode.
Not to mention the whole part about telling her I'm half demon.
Yeah.
Very bad is coming. Soldiers of darkness ushering in the end of days kind of bad.
Yeah. I was a little confused, by the way, briefly, last episode, because to my understanding, last episode, and the whole apocalypse thing, from comments that people were talking about, I got a little confused. My understanding of that episode was that he had to survive and be a vampire because something's coming in the future, whether it's this show, whether it's a crossover between him and Buffy, whatever, some evil is coming. And he needs to be a vampire, otherwise Buffy is going to die earlier than she would if he wasn't there, if he was human. You know what I mean? And as a human, he wouldn't have been able to vanquish that. And I thought, whatever that is, whatever evil that is, the Mora demon was sent by that evil to take him out in the way that it did. I don't know. That was my understanding, but there were some other people, and you know, maybe I got it wrong. That's fair. But there were people talking in the comments about the Mora Demon event being isolated, and actually the apocalyptic event was more tied to the Mora Demon. I don't know. But yeah, now he's talking about this. So yeah, it feels as if he's very vital for saving the world at some point in the future, right?
I feel something coming, Doyle. I don't know what.
Yeah.
But I know we're part of it.
Okay.
Well, if it's a fight they want.
It's a fight they'll get.
Can't someone else give it to them? Just seems unfair, you know? You gotta save all the helpless types around here. Now you gotta fight the apocalypse as well.
Why not, eh? Heroic music in the background.
Tell you what, you fight, and I'll keep score.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad he told somebody.
We can't keep secrets from each other.
I agree. Yeah. You're a unit. Let's go.
You know, I've been doing a lot of thinking about secrets and whatnot.
Is the hero going to be Doyle? I wonder. Or I don't know, the title of the episode, is it going to come from somewhere else? Or this idea that, you know, you can, the conversation they had there and the way that Doyle arrayed it against him of like, you did that and I can't even ask Cody out. Perhaps we're going to center, you know, on this idea that as individual humans, we each, perhaps every single day or every other week, every other month, whatever it might be, have these little, you know, acts that we could take that we're a little bit scared of. You know, I'm talking about, you know, the idea of perhaps a person asking out another person that they like and like the look of, and being the hero. Being the hero of your own story, as small as it might be, you know, in the grand scheme of things. It might not be, you know, stopping an apocalyptic event, but it does take a little bit of bravery to ask out that person or do this or do that. I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll see.
I need to put a few cards on the table.
Such as?
Spike face, go.
I'm a little bit more than me.
Oh, come on. Hey, man. Oh, okay.
Do they look like they could afford to pay?
What am I hearing? Sounds like marching. How are we doing? What's up?
Promised to get us passports and safe passage on a ship. He disappeared with our money, and others of our kind have found sanctuary there.
Sanctuary from whom?
Good question.
We have a guest. It's the promised one.
Oh, what?
Terrific.
The hero.
Many of our prophecies are cryptic. Final days of this century, promised one will appear and save us from the Scourge.
Okay. Oh, God, yeah, sorry. It is 1999, isn't it? Of course. Okay, so end of season 1.
The Scourge.
Arthas.
No matter how many promise guys you throw at him.
Been a few promised ones, eh?
They think I'm some promised savior.
I mean, considering the oracles, maybe you are.
What?
The Scourge.
You know
You
them.
know them. Huh.
What are they?
Death.
It's never fun, is it?
Who's there?
A friend.
I don't have any friends.
Oh, no.
Yeah, more like a relative.
Oh.
I'm a Bracken demon like yourself.
Bracken.
Safe until they came.
What is happening?
Not all of us escaped.
My God.
They know we're here.
Who? The Scourge.
The Scourge.
Okay. This is all happening quite fast.
An army. pure blood demon.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
They got a big hate on for us mixed heritage types.
Oh.
They hunt us down like animals.
Racists.
You got the wrong guy, pal. I'm not looking to explore my roots.
Mm.
Anybody that helps you, they're taking a chance. And I'm not, you know,
Not that guy?
dying to take chances.
Okay.
Believe we share a common enemy. Doesn't that mean anything to you?
Okay.
I punked out. I'd only just found out about my demon side.
Right. It was a while ago. Oh, well, you were young. I mean, there's still time. Perhaps that's... I mean, I did say, perhaps the hero is going to be Doyle, right? Coming into his own a little bit.
And what happened?
Uh-oh. Oh, is that when the visions started?
When I got the visions for the first time, I thought I was having a stroke.
I like that they're kind of arraying Doyle against Angel in a certain way. Angel is kind of the tried and tested, proven hero, right? He'll make that decision, he'll do that. Doyle not so much, but perhaps it's going to play around with this idea of... Like, I quite like that Doyle is a little bit grittier. His origin story, for lack of a better word, is... yeah, a bit more complex. His character is a bit more flawed. And it kind of almost means more if he's going to kind of work on himself and work on that and become someone new, someone else. You know, it's within everyone's power, right? I think we underestimate a lot of the time how much our life and, you know, all of it is to a certain point. It's down to, and who we are as people is down to us. You know, you can make decisions, different decisions, and shift who you are. You know, sometimes it's incremental. It can begin though by kind of saying to yourself, like, I don't like that I made that decision. I'm not going to do that anymore. Anyway, sorry, just interesting from the perspective of Doyle, who he is or who he was, who is he right now, and where is he going to go, right? And like I say, episode hero, are we kind of molding him to be a little bit more so like that? Maybe all of them. Cordy too.
You did notice that these folks are demons.
We're going to start softening her to demons.
Aren't we supposed to be battling the forces of darkness?
They're not forces of darkness.
So we're booking them on a cruise?
Basically, yeah. He does this, they're even.
Ho ho!
Santa?
So we're sending them on a cruise and we're paying for it?
Okay, I understand where you're coming from, but also...
Bad things are coming, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
He said you bit him?
No, I never bit him.
So you'd...
I wasn't hungry. No one looks inside that ship or tries to stop it from leaving port. If they do, I'm gonna be feeling it's your fault. Then look for me to get a little bit peckish.
Is that act heroic?
No one's gonna get killed.
Hopefully.
Go to the ship. If you're not here when I get back, I'll bring the boy to you there.
Well, look at you, being all heroic, going out on your own.
You're fast.
I'm walking. You're just old.
Hey.
It's your choice.
A choice. Where do I want to be hated? You're passing. My mother was the same way. Could walk down the street.
Yeah.
She took me out with her one day. I was so excited. You know what day it was?
It's Halloween.
Damn.
I can be hated by humans because they're scared of me, or by purebloods who want to kill me.
Yeah, that sucks.
Oh, easy. It's not much of a choice.
And, you know, I've known somebody who came from mixed heritage, and it is really tough. And I'm not speaking from, you know, personal experience, so I won't talk about it too much. It is that thing of you're not accepted by one or the other. You're always in between, and so you never quite fit. I've heard very personal experiences that are heartbreaking, and it becomes a thing that it's really hard to find, I think, where you belong in that kind of space. You want to, and I mean, Doyle, like he said, passes, and his lived experience is going to be different for that. It's crazy, isn't it? Because it's really not complicated. People are people. They're valuable. It doesn't matter. Accept people. Community. Invite them in. God, again, another thing. 1999. This sort of thing is still rife today. Sucks.
Bet you that little girl's gonna miss you.
Yeah, well, she's dead by now.
This kid's bitterness is completely valid. It's one choice or the other. What do you choose? I mean, look, I think he should stay with his people and, you know, they should go somewhere and get away because the Scourge is coming. Absolutely. But yeah, what a place it puts someone into mentally.
Because your friend's the promised one? So you know it's not true.
No, I don't.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's like this kid's experience has got to be, okay, sure, if this works and we get away from the Scourge, fine. But my existence is still this. You know, my existence is still, I'm only accepted on Halloween. Which is a very hopeless situation to be in. Even, you know, best case scenario, you're still having a hard life.
Your people can call him the Promised One or the Dark Avenger. I mean, what does it matter?
It matters because it's a lie.
There's something of an optimistic idea being presented by the show here, I think, in that this kid needs a hero so that he can start hoping again. The show is mulling over the importance of heroes, or at least the idea of one. Previously, it was quipped that there had been many promised ones, which suggests it's less about actually identifying a promised one and more about instilling hope so that a people can get through another day. It's tying hero to hope, believing in better so that you're in a mental state that prepares you to be able to find something better rather than have bitterness and hopelessness consume you. As we see as this episode ends, these people get a front row seat to a hero in action, and I imagine that moment and the knowledge that people can and will do such things to help others will give them hope to keep going. Sometimes that's what matters.
Maybe Angel doesn't know what he's doing, it's possible. But the other option, losing yourself somewhere, hoping it all goes away, that never works.
Nice. It's worth... I love it. I love that Doyle is... it's absolutely worth, and I love that the show is, you know, putting someone into this position of trying to pull this kid out of the, you know, the darkness that, you know, he's kind of wreathed himself in. You know, this hopeless, this very valid but hopeless place. And it's going to take a lot to pull him away from that, pull him out of that. And I love that it's Doyle doing it. Because I think, you know, what have we seen throughout this episode? It's Doyle. And we had the flashback scene of him very much not being the hero, right? And then we have him talking to Angel and saying, you're the hero for what you did last episode. And it's like, I'm nothing compared to that. All of these representations of Doyle as a character in the show, in this episode, I'm not a hero, I'm not a hero, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm not quite enough. And this scene, like I say, I think the way that it's written and presenting this kid, his plight, where he is mentally, where, you know, he's going, the Scourge coming in too, and his safety, his ultimate safety, you know, sure from the Scourge, but then after the Scourge, even if they get out, cultivating his mental state, right? Because he's not in a good place. And like I say, pulling him out of that, it's a bit of a monolith of a task to do, to actually effectively do that. And it's not something you can, you know, do in a day or whatever it might be, or in a conversation, but there's a start to be made. Doyle is making it. And I think, you know, I just love that, considering where this episode started, what the subject matter, what we're dealing with, hero, who is, who isn't, where's Doyle in that space, this conversation here, I love that I can see that this is like an incremental kind of, and the acts that he's taking into trying to help these people, it's not making him a hero overnight, but this is huge for his character, really huge. And I love how these, you know, a character like Doyle isn't one-dimensional. There's a lot to him, where we've, like I say, this idea of hero, who he was, who he is now, who he could be. He's not a cut and dry, this is who he is. You know, I think there's a lot you could say about Doyle. There's lots of layers to him. I think this episode is highlighting that through the lens of hero. But I love the place that he's in as a character. I love what this scene does for his character. There's still a long way to go. But I love the fact that it feels like this is a little morsel of a meal. And I can see that the meal that I'm going to get with his character, at least potentially, is huge and satiating. And this is just a little bit of it. There's so much potential for his character, and I like everything that I'm seeing.
It won't be the most comfortable thing in the world, but we'll get them where they're going.
So we need. And, you know, the core of the episode, this idea of asylum seekers, right? Immigrants, helping them get to a place where they're going to be safe. I feel like at the core of this episode is this idea, because, you know, we're talking about immigrants, whatever. You start getting into the nitty-gritty of that conversation. You know, you kind of start to take into account modern day and how the UK sees it is not very good, how the US sees it's not very good. This idea of, like, to me, you know, fundamentally, it comes down to this idea of like, okay, yes, there's obviously going to be a logistical issue that we need to fix when it comes to that, or at least work out. But this idea that if someone is seeking asylum, or people are trying to come to a certain country, they're in need, or they're desperate, or hell, they just want a better life. Fundamentally, at the core of it, I feel like all of the conversations, all of the politics of it, all of the anything, it boils down to one thing. And it's such a simple, at least to me, such a simple thing, such a simple answer, which is, goddamn, help them. Help them. They are people. They're people. We should always be looking to do the best thing for individual people. We mix it all up with, you know, patriotism and borders and divides. And it's interesting that we're talking about, we have this conversation about half and half human, half demon, being accepted, not accepted. You know, in this episode, I think that's very on purpose, because I think that comes into this conversation of people judge. They absolutely do. All of these different things that we have insinuated into certain sectors of humanity, certain countries, in white culture, most notably, of people that look different is a marker of, should we let them in, should we help them, or should we not? And it's like, the answer is always help them, help them, help them, always. That should always be the goal. And I love, that's why I bring it up, I love that in this episode there's no question of it. There's no talking about like, should we, shouldn't we? It was automatically, yes, we're going to help them. There's no question. And I love it. I love that. Because to me, it is that simple. And I feel like it's so overcomplicated nowadays for all of these different reasons. And we do just need to have a better awareness around that, I think. Forget borders, forget patriotism. Our country is this, this, and this, and nothing else. Forget how people look or where they're coming from, or that they're coming from a different culture than you. And oh God, no, they're here now and they're bringing their culture here. What a terrible thing. And sarcasm, it's not. Of course it's not. I think English people do it all the time, where they go abroad, they go on holiday to experience different cultures, and then they'll come home and won't be happy with someone on their street or in their town or city practicing a culture that isn't English. And it's like, it's so twisted and weird. And sorry, lots of words to basically come down and say it's not that complicated. The thing at the core of it, at the center, is that we should help people. And if there are difficulties with that, that's fine, but we need to overcome them because we need to help people. Easy.
I thought Scourge and Demons had a good sense of direction.
Yeah, we're all pretty good at basketball, too.
We're all pretty good at basketball too. Very on the nose of conflation with, the topic at hand. Stereotypes in regard to race. Oh. Lovely that they've got like a special march that tells you when they're coming. Yeah, look at them, how they're being characterized. Senseless violence. No need for any of this, is there? It's just hate. It's just chaos for the sake of it. Destroy it all. Burning the world down for this vendetta they have. Senseless. There we go. Look at Doyle.
They're coming. Good.
Let's get him.
And when the lights come on, where do the vermin go?
God, crazy that this episode exists. I'm watching it now. And we have ICE in America doing what they're doing. And by the way, for no reason at all, other than there's never a bad time to say it, fuck ICE.
Back off. It's my kill.
Okay, that's the way we're gonna go.
Yours is the lowest of all the half-breeds.
Jeez.
Please don't!
Nice.
And only you can show me the way.
Appeal to their vendetta.
I can help you.
Is this a two-parter? It feels like it should be. Yeah, very much channeling Angelus, isn't it? It's interesting, the characterization of Doyle this episode and the way that Angel's being characterized, taking on the villainous persona. How did you fake a neck snap, by the way? Okay, didn't fake it. Wow.
Can all Scourge and Demons do that?
We're stronger in demon form.
Okay.
Angel said he cut my debt in half. I do him this favor, right?
Yep, that's what he said.
He takes 60% off. Then I wait.
Hey, well done, Cody.
Doyle, get him here.
Yes, he's a good one.
Oh,
Just more familiar for Doyle. He has to live with a certain amount of persecution. Do when you're half demon.
Demon?
Duh. He was gonna tell you. He was close.
Why hunt the mongrel? Doesn't its very inferiority guarantee that it poses no threat?
I just can't get, I can't even, I'm a creative person. I'm an imaginative person. I cannot get into the mind space of seeing other human beings as below you. I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. It's crazy to me. I'm not trying to virtue signal or I just don't. What does it take? It takes something in society, doesn't it? I think there's a conversation to be had. And I'm not saying racism just exists in white culture. It doesn't. But I do think that, looking at the UK's history, England's history, the empire, colonization, all of the deeds, all of the acts that we've done, I think that sort of thing does and has boiled down into our culture in a way that does still influence us. I think there's a lot of patriotic pride in this country about it. You look at people who celebrate the monarchy for king and country. You look at how big Bond is, like James Bond, and how patriotic that is. One of the biggest IPs that's come out of this country. And what is it? It's something that enhances and enforces that patriotism, that king and country. And it's like, what does the monarchy, as much as we want to deny it, or people might want to deny it nowadays, what does the monarchy really truly represent? It does represent that past still. And, you know, for people that want to deny that, it's like, how... you know, you still see it. You still see them going to the Commonwealth. It does trickle down and drip feed into society, into culture. And I think we're seeing a lot in regards to how reform is taking a lot of the limelight nowadays, which is horrifying. I think same for the US, by the way. I don't want to just, you know, I know I rag on the US a lot because I watch shows that are based there. So they do take, you know, front and center, front focus. But I mean, God, I mean, look, I'll take responsibility for that too. Like, I think America and where it came from, the origins, bathed in colonization, and which came from us, right? You know, it is what it is. It all started here. But I think there is a certain superiority in regard to that we have in this country. Even if people don't notice it, I think it's subconscious. I mean, the fact that this is happening in this episode, and today it is happening in my country, it is happening in the US, to take two examples, this hasn't gone away, and it shouldn't be there. Like, how have we got shows and movies, TV, going into all of this? I do feel like sometimes people watch Star Wars, like right wing, like MAGA watch Star Wars, and yet they support Trump and what he's doing, and don't understand the fundamental message of Star Wars, which is literally fighting fascism and empire. Oh God. Like, it goes over people's heads. It's crazy. You know, you sometimes think media is so influential. I think it is. It absolutely is. But I think there is a through line to media that so many people don't pay attention to it hard enough, or apply it. Like, people can recognize it in media, but not out in the real world. There's probably something to that. Some kind of dissonance that happens in the real world. I'm sure there's, you know, cleverer people than me that are talking about it. And I suppose it does tie into this episode of, you know, the focus being hero, because I think that's the thing. I imagine if you ask, like, people who support reform, they're all the hero of their own story. They're all Luke Skywalker in the X-Wing, trying to take down the Death Star, you know. I think people repurpose stories like that to make themselves feel better, or that they're on the right path, or their cause is the one, you know, that's good. It's dangerous. It is dangerous. I suppose, you know, what's our relationship with this idea of being the hero? I think at its core, there is something that you have to be really careful of. When it takes awareness, self-awareness too. There's part of me that, you know, is constantly questioning myself. How much am I persuading myself that I'm always doing the right thing, to the point that maybe I'm making a mistake about something or something else? Do you know what I mean? Maybe you need that unsurety to really be identifying within yourself whether you're actually doing the right thing all the time, or whether you're on the right path, right? And I mean, there's people that would probably call that overthinking or whatever, and maybe validly so, fair enough. But yeah, there's a balance to be struck, right, I think. But I think, you know, there should be this thing in ourselves, and you know, intrinsic with our existence as a human, as an individual human on this earth, that is questioning, always questioning if we're on the right path. Is this idea of what the hero is, or how that's influencing me, or whatever it might be, am I right? I think so often the idea of hero can get twisted, which is interesting. I think Angel's and his path in this is almost representing that. I don't think that was intended in the writing. You know, it's almost this and obviously, you know, he's not joining them. But this idea of almost, I don't know, this mixed representation here, look, is in the outfit, the uniform. He is this, what is he? What's his function in this episode? This idea of hero. Everything that he is in the episodes past goes towards this image of him as hero. It's this very visual, aesthetic image of the hero in the uniform of the enemy, and I think speaks to something of what I'm trying to talk about a little bit of. Are we the hero of our own story? What uniform have we got on though, really? Which are we right? Yeah. Sorry, not really. It's a bit of an open-ended discussion, I suppose.
It's as good as giving up the call to evil altogether.
Well, I say never!
Yikes.
Till each and every half-breed is erased and our purity rules this planet!
The half-breeds that have eluded us will be destroyed.
Do they know about the ship?
Thanks to this good man.
Uh-oh.
Ship they think means salvation.
Damn. Nice plan, Angel.
To witness the power of the beacon.
Also, this commentary, you know, and the way that they've taken Angel in, the way that they've taken this guy in, you know that they still, I mean, by the words that he said to Angel when Angel came in, you know that he hates and disrespects and looks down on Angel, even though he's invited him in. They will stoop, they're not, you know, they'll use people that they think are below them. but they'll never accept them. People that help these sorts of people willingly, even though they will be betrayed at the first opportunity.
He makes it all so clear.
Things are very clear.
Along with any creatures contaminated with human blood will perish.
What?
Its deadly reach will extend a quarter mile.
Jesus.
Want to see how it works?
No. There you go. What did I say? Yikes. Whew, what a heavy episode, huh? Like, honestly, if only this was fiction. I know people get upset sometimes when I, talk about it from a modern perspective of applying it to our world and what's going on in our world. I get you. I don't want to talk about it either. I want to be able to ignore it too. I wish our world was a better place so I didn't feel like I had to, right? Like, I don't enjoy doing it. I think it's important to do it, right? To talk about it. Like I say, I wish it was fiction.
We were worried.
Well, it's all gonna be okay.
Why didn't you tell me you were half demon?
Yeah.
I thought we agreed that secrets are bad.
Well, he was about to tell you, to be fair.
Thought if I did, you'd reject me.
I rejected you way before now. I can't believe you think I'd care about that.
Beautiful.
I mean, I work for a vampire. Hello?
It's true,
Yeah.
What do you think I am? Superficial?
You're getting better, though.
Half demon? That is so far down the list. Way under short and
Okay.
poor.
Cordy, listen to yourself.
Is there anything else I should know?
Huge penis.
That's out. Would you ask me out for dinner already?
Oh, sorry, you should not talk about your penis uninvited. That's fair.
But move! Now! Stay with the others.
Hey, we really want to make some change. We should take out these guys. Is that going to be the overarching goal going forward? Oh, man.
Only the pure will be left standing.
You'll be on your...
Nice. Yeah, and Cordy, like I said earlier in the episode, I think this idea of R3, the kind of, I suppose, rumination discussion of them as the hero, how, what does that look like? I think we've got it from Angel, we've got it from Doyle, and we've got it from Cordelia too. I think that moment where she slaps Doyle and it's like, what did you think I was going to do? Of course it's okay. I think that is as an act is very heroic too.
I pull the cables, I think I could still shut it off.
Angel, it's suicide.
It's all right.
No.
The good fight, yeah? You never know until you've been tested. I get that now.
Is Doyle gonna go? Yeah. Oh. Hey. What?
Too bad we'll never know.
What was that?
If this is a face you could learn to love.
Okay. Is Doyle going out? Nah.
Doyle! Doyle!
There you go. What a step for him. Oh, dude. Oh, buddy. Oh, God. Oh. Oh. What? Oh, goddamn. Well, I wasn't wrong. They were building him up to be the hero. Unfortunately, that journey is not going to be very long.
Angel Investigations is the best.
He can't be gone for good, surely.
Our rates are low, but our standards.
I'm just thinking from a powers that be scenario and the visions.
Someone who'll go all the way.
That's crazy. I don't know if I believe it.
Don't lose hope.
If he is actually fully dead, it's crazy that no one spoiled me. It came out of nowhere though, goddamn.
Am I done?
What? Okay. I am slightly holding, I don't know, putting a pin in this. I just don't think it doesn't. That's a really bold move, by the way. I love it. I love it for his character. I don't love that he's gone if he is gone for good. I think that's such a waste. But that's what makes me think it's not for good. And also, like I say, powers that be, visions, there's something I feel like that is wider ranging with the scope of that story, that he's important. He was the one who came to Angel at the behest of whatever. Are we gonna... Is there like a death realm? Can we get him out? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I was not expecting that though. Fair play. But I think that's why I'm not like upset. If we get to the point... Like I am, it hit me, but like not to the point that I'm like, oh no, you know what I mean? Because I feel like that's not the end of him. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's crazy. Episode 9 of season 1. Anyway, we'll see. God, that was Hero. Lots of ruminations on what it is as a word, how we define it, and how we apply it to people and in our world, you know, in the different ranges of how you want to talk about it. In the mundane day-to-day of, you know, I think to a certain extent, if we don't see ourselves as heroic, we see perhaps the decisions we're making as the right ones, you know, which I think to a certain extent, at least symbolically, is this idea of the hero and us being the hero of our own story of, well, you're only making that decision or living your life that way because you think it's the right way and the right one, the right decision. And then in the more overt, obvious way that perhaps Angel or the act that we saw at the end of with Doyle. Yeah, and it just feels a bit cheap in a certain way. If that is the way that he goes out, he just tells Cordy. He's still got, I feel like, a lot of legs in him as a character. I was talking earlier in the episode how looking forward to his character, seeing it develop I was. Maybe it's partly I don't want to believe that he's dead. Yeah. Put a pin in it. We'll see. We'll see where we go next episode. I'm very interested in where we go next episode. Are we going to move on? Are we going to just be a little bit depressed for a bit and then move on? Or next episode, is there going to be okay, let's get him back. What can we do? Is he gone? Or do we go to the oracles again? You know, as for, I suppose, the idea of the hero, and the way that I was kind of talking about it before, you know, the example that I gave was Luke Skywalker. Everybody thinks they're Luke Skywalker in an X-Wing, blowing up the Death Star, right? And it's like, it's very simplistic kind of reduction of what, you know, the hero is in a certain way, because it's like, I think sometimes there's such a kind of unawareness of the alignments of a story, the messaging of a story, you know, what X represents, what X represents, how that fits or would fit in our world, in the sense of, okay, well, this cause is actually more Rebel Alliance as opposed to Empire. Anyway, point being, I think sometimes people, you know, watch those sorts of stories and automatically align themselves with the hero a lot of the time, when perhaps some of the views and beliefs that they hold would not be held by Luke Skywalker. And actually, in fact, Luke Skywalker would look at you and say, you are who I would fight. You are so unaligned with everything that I stand for and believe in. Anyway, I think a lot of people don't understand or don't care. I think it is as simple as me good, I'm hero, I align myself with the hero of the story. Something that I think perhaps you can draw from this episode is this idea of, okay, forget, and, you know, I'm talking more from the perspective of, you know, the demonstrations of heroism in this episode of, okay, yes, we do have a big heroic moment in what Doyle does at the end, but we have smaller moments of heroism too, in that moment as he, you know, and he gets interrupted by the vision, but where he listens to Cordelia, no secrets, and he starts, and you know he's going to tell her. That is a moment, you know, things go a different way, but the important point is that the intent there, the fact that we can see he was going to, and actually, you know, the idea of heroism or being heroic, or however you want to translate that, you know, being a good person, whatever it might be, it's not necessarily these big, you know, heroic moments. It's a small, perhaps relatively small thing, or small things that you can do in your daily life that are taking the path of the hero. And I think this idea of almost the homogenization of the hero, or the idea of the hero in the minds of the general public of, yes, I am Luke Skywalker, and then the repurposing of that idea onto them, when actually, like I say, that they perhaps couldn't be further apart. I think perhaps it's almost this taking that idea of the squeaky clean big hero, this idea of like a Luke Skywalker, and being like, that's not necessarily the idea of hero that you should be paying attention to. It should be in your life, in your daily life, to the people around you, being honest, being good, you know, communicating. Because what is that between him and Cordelia? It's communicating, it's community, right? Having someone there. Anyway, point being, sorry, it's not necessarily, I think, what the episode was going for, just what I'm taking from it, and the idea of this interesting conversation of the hero, how nuanced, how complex it can be, how, I don't know, messy it gets in the modern world today, how it isn't as simple, perhaps. I think sometimes the hero, or the idea of the hero, gets so diluted, or it's so big that it's so unattainable, and actually, no, it's within your grasp. It's there every single day in every decision that you could possibly make. And I think there's something beautiful about that idea of the hero, and how almost unattainable Luke Skywalker is in a certain way, but also how the Luke Skywalker and the idea of that kind of hero is always going to be repurposed and can quite often be repurposed by the bad guys as well. And that's not necessarily the idea of hero we should be striving for in our daily lives, as much as, you know, God. And I'm talking about it in the sense of like the kind of the cultural zeitgeist that it is, how we interact with that kind of hero in those kinds of stories. Because I mean, in an ideal world, we would all be jumping into hypothetical X-Wings and fighting the powers that be. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be that. Anyway, that was Hero. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, drop a comment down below, let me know what you thought. Thank you, God, as always, to my patrons, my YouTube members. Thank you so much for your support. There are some links down in the description below for early access to all my videos. Thanks once more for watching. That was Slayer Saturdays. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, mate. But until next time, see ya.